Thank you for joining us to learn more about an alternative way, a much better way to attack pensions and retirements versus the traditional 401k, 403b. And let's dive right in. So, we're going to talk to you about the GOALL program. That is growth only, automated life and legacy program. And we're creating a win-win for both employers and employees. And the way that we do that is by addressing employers' needs with a solution that addresses employees' wants. And from the employer standpoint, when we address the employee wants, we're going to have a better way to hire top talent, drive employee retention, tethering your top talent, reducing your overall benefit costs, as well as reducing taxable income. So when you can attack multiples of these, what that does is it's going to drive your profits. It's going to drive your profits upward, no doubt about it. So let's look at the real cost of turnover. So let's just say you have an employee that makes $30,000. Now, you can use different percentages. It might be anywhere from 25% to 50% of their salary it's cost you to replace, train, and onboard that new employee. So let's say it's 50%, that's $15,000. Now, let's say your business runs at an operating margin, profit margin of 20%. Well, you need $75,000 in additional sales to make up for that one created turnover employee. If you have more, it's going to be more. If they make more, it's going to be more. So that just gives you an idea of what it costs, okay, to plug the hole in the bucket just for that one employee making 30 grand. So what do employees want? They want to feel protected and supported. They want benefits that are needed in today's market conditions, not something from 20 years ago. Those don't exist anymore. So what type of benefits are they wanting? Well, they want something that's going to protect them from life's risks. Those can include market risk. We've seen the volatility in the stock market this year alone, and that's always going to be there. Income risk. What happens if they cannot work for a period of time? Where does their money come from then? Health risk. What happens again if they have a significant health event, and where does the money come to pay those bills? Legislative risk. Laws are always changing. Regulations are constantly changing as it could relate to 401ks. I mean, you have a partner in the government with a 401k, 403b. And if you don't think that things might change, you might be a little bit with your head in the sand. And tax risk. Taxes are already very significant, and chances are they're not going to get lower. They're going to increase, if anything. That's the reality. So that's where we come in. Employees get and keep this product that provides this protection while employed and continues in retirement. Employers get this all in one product. So protection from market risks. Let's take a closer look at that. Since 2000, there have been 7 years where we've had a decrease in the stock market. Most of those over double digits. So only 2 of them in 2015 and 2018 have been lower than 10%. And you can see 2008 was just a real big blow, 39%. And let's take a look at what that means. The bigger the deficit, the more that you're going to need to make up for it just to break even. So if you have $100 and you have a 50% loss, guess what? You're left with $50. Now, to get back to even, oops, sorry about that. To get back to even, you need to actually have a gain of 100% to get back to that $100. So that gives you an idea. You can't just make another 50%. You would only be at $75. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And then if we look at protection from tax risks and legislative risks, those things may certainly tie together. But when you have that, you're going to have three things. So you're going to have tax deductible contribution, tax deferred accumulation, and tax-free distribution. But guess what? You can only have 2 out of 3 of those. And the traditional method is to do the tax deduction up front with your contribution. And then you do get tax deferred accumulation, but then you're going to get taxed on the distribution. Our method is different. We're not going to take that tax deduction up front. Rather, we're going to defer the accumulation and get tax-free distribution. So pay your taxes today because, again, taxes are not going to go down, and you don't need to worry about legislative changes that might impact the age, for instance, when you can withdraw those 401k funds. So let's take a look at the protection from health risks during the employee's lifetime. So if you have an untimely death, this is based on a 30-year-old male, by the way. If you have an untimely death, their beneficiary is going to get $382,000 as a tax-free distribution. If you have a terminal illness, you can take $300,000 to help with those needs during that time. If you have a critical illness, again, you can take $200,000 to help with things that pop up during those time frames. If you have a critical injury, again, $200,000. If you have a chronic illness, you can take $7,500 per month on a monthly basis to help with that chronic illness. Alzheimer's, just under $200,000 for that. Okay? So that's asset protection for life during your lifetime. Now, from the employer's perspective, if you have life insurance, you can probably take that out of the equation. So let's say you're paying $20 a month per employee for life insurance. You don't have to do that anymore. For chronic illnesses, for things that are going to be long-term disability, maybe you're providing that at $15 a month. You can take that out of the equation now. So again, these are ways that you can save money as the employer. So here are two different approaches. The traditional way, 401k, 403b. Let's say you have an employee that's contributing $3,000. And again, this is based on a 30-year-old. There's a $50 a month employer match. So same thing on the GOALL side. And then protection from income risk, there is nothing there with the traditional method. With ours, again, you have a $382,000 permanent IUL policy that you can tap into during your lifetime. Now let's look at the results after 36 years. So the traditional side, again, they're going to save about $36,000 in tax savings. That is significant. We're not disputing that. So after 36 years, this 30-year-old has accumulated about $450,000, and they're going to take $52,000 in annual income. To do that, though, that amount is taxed. So they need to take out almost $67,000 per year. So they're paying almost 15 grand in taxes. With our method, okay, again, there is that death benefit, $538,000 at that point, plus the living benefits. Don't forget about those. Then we have $450,000 in retirement savings. Again, we're taking a $52,000 annual income from it. It's via tax-free loans, $0 taxes. We've already paid it on the front end in the contributions. It's not how much you make in retirement, it's how much you keep. Now check this out. On the traditional side, this person will run out of money in the 9th or 10th year. On the GOALL side, growth only, automated life and legacy, by following the GOALL way, if you live to 100 years old, you will receive $1,772,000 in tax-free retirement income and still be able to leave your family with $542,000 free from income tax as a legacy as well. I mean, which do you think is better? Pretty clear. So again, the GOALL way, there's no 10% withdrawal penalty before the age of 59 and a half like there is on the traditional side. Income does not cause Social Security taxation. No market loss ever. So let's take a look at how this works from the employer's perspective. Okay, and we'll show you another method where you can fund this, but let's just take a look at this. So we have a different way that we do the company match, and it's based on loyalty and their contribution to the company, if you will. Okay, so basically you can take out the part-timers. We're not worried about them right now, but the full-time employees are getting a $50 match if they're from in their first 2 years. They're 2 to 4 years, it's going to bump up to $75 a month. 4 to 6 years, $100. 6 to 8 years, $125, and so on and so on. Now these are level 1 employees. If you lost them, it wouldn't be that huge of a hit for the company. They're your entry level. Level 2 are more of your middle management, so they get a little bit more. Their first 2 years, they're getting $200 a month, then $225, then $250, $275, $300, and so on. Okay. Now, your level 3 employees, though you may only have 1 or 2 of those. Those are your key employees. You never want to lose them. Okay. So we're going to show you a method where you actually are the owner of their policy for the bulk of what you're contributing, $400 a month, and then an additional $100 for those employees, those level 3 employees that are 0 to 2 years. And then it's bumping up again, 125, 150, 175, and so on throughout the years. But that's the way that we tether those employees to you, because you're going to turn over both these policies to them when they retire or leave after a certain number of years that you've agreed upon. Okay? So that's the right-hand side. That's the way that our loyalty match. And we've got software built in that's going to recognize when people hit these milestones, and we're going to send you certificates that you can award and recognize those employees for hitting those milestones. Okay, but on the left-hand side here, again, we have life insurance that you had. It costs you $20 a month per employee. You don't need that anymore. Short-term disability, if you're providing that, I wouldn't change that. But the long-term disability, if you have that in place, if you're paying for it, you can stop that because the GOALL program is going to take care of it. On this, you might have had a match, a percentage match, 3 or 5%. It might have cost you $155 per month per employee on average. Ours, we've averaged out over here $106 per month per employee. So it goes from $205 to $121 per employee. And that annual contribution, instead of $61,500 for your 25 employees, it's $36,000. There's also no compliance fees that you have to worry about on the GOALL program versus the 401k, et cetera, et cetera. So your monthly savings is $2,300 just for that. So again, we're creating win-win for you, the employer, and your employees to protect them from market risk, income risk, health risk, legislative, and tax risk. So what that allows you to do is maintain your business growth and momentum and stop getting hurt when these key employees might otherwise have left. And then your employees feel protected and supported. So we're not going to worry about these next educational steps now, but that's typically what we do. And for now, if you want to connect with me, there's my information. Would love to have an overview and a sit down and make this specific to you and your company. And otherwise, have a wonderful day, and we will see you on the other side. Take care.